Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Epik, and before we do, we always look at Bitcoin kind of quick understanding, see what's going on, right? It is trending right around 60,400, 500. We've got a potential doji candle here, which just started 2 hours ago, so that doesn't really matter. But you can see that the price did close above 60,000, so it is kind of reaffirming that potential support level there. Also, the 50-day simple moving average is working its way up with the price. So these are both good things for Bitcoin. Just bear in mind that there is still potential for a death cross on the 4-hour chart, which has me a little bit concerned for the near future. So I'm going to kind of wait this out. If you're currently a community member, I'm not sending out a tremendous amount of signals or any really since Bitcoin took a crap, just based on the sheer fact that we don't know if it's going to do another round number 2, right? So we want to just double check, wait for some things to kind of iron out first before we get there. Swing trades are all good. Don't be afraid to dollar cost average. Now, moving on to Epik, let's take a quick look at let's go with the 1-day chart first, obviously, and work our way down. And simply put, you can kind of see here for Epik that we've had 3 very strong days here. Now, traditionally speaking, you see 3 strong green days, you're looking for a red day following. But there is a pretty large candlestick, or candle wick up here rather, that implies that we might actually see that turn around a lot sooner. So we'll go ahead and take a look at some other things here. We're up over 70 on the RSI. This is fantastic. Very good sign here. We've also received, well, wouldn't say we received it, but there was a MACD convergence. Roughly what day was that? It was between the 16th and 17th, obviously when the price shot up right here. So that kind of gave us a good indication of a buy signal. Let's look at the 4-hour chart and kind of see what's going on in the last 8 hours. We've seen consolidation, maybe even 12 hours. And for lack of better terms, we're above both moving averages, which is excellent. Furthermore, we're coming on the downside for the RSI. And if you've watched my RSI videos in the past, the 4-hour chart specifically, when you look at the RSI and it's coming back down, that's typically a good sign to consider trimming your position or possibly selling your position depending on what your overall goal is, right? Obviously, if Epik is a coin for you and you want to stick around for a while, just dollar cost average, maybe sell a little bit, add to your position when it hits a little bit lower. Whatever the case is, don't worry about selling and trying to take profit if you just want to do that. But if you're kind of more short term or perhaps just a little bit of a swing trade, you might want to consider taking profits before it dumps too far. Again, we'll take a look at the big picture here and kind of see what the potential is. It does look like it could continue, and this could just be a normal correction, which is pretty standard. So again, just heads up, RSI comes back down. That's usually a good point in which you want to sell, not necessarily when it's heading upwards. That's the key takeaway. All right, so that's kind of the bottom line there for the 4-hour chart. Let's look at the 1-hour chart and kind of see what's going on here. And what we can do is we can look at the Ishimoku cloud and make sure we understand specifically where we're at, with the price action and where we might have seen a MACD convergence in the 4-hour. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So looking at this here, you can see that this lagging span is getting closer here. Therefore, we might actually see a potential sell signal. But the good news is we have this signal right here that's up above the actual price. So in other words, it's above this this bottom lead here, and that basically just implies that we have good potential to continue to hold on to our position, and that even though it might reverse, we don't want to sell until this guy comes all the way back here to meet that, right? Or this comes all the way over here, that would be considered a sell signal too. So obviously do your own research on the Ishimoku cloud. The more fundamental aspect here of the cloud is that we're above the cloud, and that was effectively a buy signal back then because we had the price, the lead above the baseline there, and it just continued upwards. So again, something to consider. Big picture, definitely looking good in that sense. Let's see where we're at with TD sequential. Well, we hit a 9, as you can see. And if you're new to the channel, TD sequential is a really good indication of a exhaustion. It works the best, in my opinion, on the 1-hour chart, but the 4-hour and the 1-day can also be effective. But at this point here, you can see that there's we went from a 1 to an 8 at the top. Number 9, of course, we got a reset. That's actually good. That's perfect because then it didn't go too far too fast. And that gives us a chance now, after this period of consolidation, to leg up again. Right? So the likelihood of it falling down flat on its face is pretty low, considering the simple fact that it's having a chance to, the bears are basically taking their profits and the bulls are essentially adding to their position. That's why the price is going sideways, and it's not essentially allowing it to decrease because there's established value in the current price, right? So when the price goes sideways, consolidation is basically just the bears and the bulls kind of fighting it out to figure out who's going to take control. And for right now, it's pretty much up in the air. We don't know yet, but great news, the price has not significantly decreased as a result of that. So the likelihood of this continuing higher is very good, considering the fact that we have a period of consolidation. So even though, yes, the 4-hour chart looks kind of intimidating, that it's kind of just hanging out there ready to drop off a cliff, it may not do that based on the sheer fact that we're having a healthy period of consolidation. Okay, let's look at a little bit further too. If you see this as well, this is another reason why I like it. I'm a big fan of staircase patterns when it comes to bullish momentum. So if you look at the price coming up and over here, healthy, number one, check, awesome. The next little run, awesome, same thing as well. We got this up over pattern. Yes, it's down here, of course, but it's trending. And if we can make higher highs and higher lows, we'll be right back up there to break the all-time high, and then we can take off after it reestablishes itself as a support level. Okay, so there's a handful of little things that you can kind of look at, but TD sequential on the 1 hour chart is very helpful to identify that. You can use it on the 4 hour chart here as well. You can see we're at a 5. So that basically just means we have a potential of 4 more 4 hour candlesticks, roughly 16 hours of bullish momentum to the upside. That's a chance. That's a possibility. Is it going to happen 100%? No, you don't truly know, but it has good momentum. It has good healthy patterns, and it's overall bullish on the big picture and the small picture, right? So those are all good signs. So I would venture to guess that we're going to see a continuation from Epik. I don't feel like it's over exhausted yet. And the fact of the matter is here, this previous all-time high right around what, that was November 2nd at approximately 71 cents will be the new support level, okay? So we'll just go ahead and mark that there on the count, on the chart. Sometimes I like to call it a calendar, by the way. Yeah, real professional, right? All right, let's take a look here at, let's go ahead and go with Fibonacci. Go ahead and get a prediction or a projection and kind of go from there. All right, so based on this current movement, we can see that support is holding right in the center. But also bear in mind too, we want to look at the 1 day candlestick really quick to kind of see if there's any highs we can see. So previously here, we got this guy here as well. So we want to mark that too. Because sometimes the all-time highs or the the ICO dates, whatever the case is, they created this is support and resistance channel, obviously depending if the price is above or below. But in this case right now, that'll be a nice substantial support level. But they don't always line up specifically with the actual Fibonacci retracement line. So keep that in mind. Those are a little bit off, but it's actually just fine because it gives us more support levels to worry about, or to work with rather, if the price were to come back down. So that kind of is where we're at. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 hour chart. So long story short here, we got a nice support channel here, right? I already drew that in there. We've obviously got a potential resistance at about 88 cents. So 88 is essentially the high. We've got a potential support / resistance at 78 cents. Now this is potential because it's still kind of testing and figuring it out right now. We don't know if that's going to hold, but the good key takeaway here is that the most recent high, the all-time high, is traditionally a very strong support level. So I'd be surprised if 71 cents doesn't hold here in the near future. Oftentimes what I do is I set alerts just above those type of all-time high previous resistance / current support levels, and make sure that I have an alert just in case the price were to come down and touch that line, so I can either add to my position or reevaluate and then essentially take a long position to the upside. Because traditionally, I would say okay, let's go with statistics, right? 85% of statistics are made up on the spot. So don't get me wrong, this percent might be a little off, but in my experience in the last 15 years of trading, I can tell you that a previous all-time high that creates itself as a support level, in other words, it's broken, and then the 1 day candlestick closes at that point, that creates essentially a very strong support level. So oftentimes I would say maybe just throw out a round number, 75-80% of the time, it's more likely than not to work as a stronger support than previous, and it allows for the price to bounce and come back up. So there is a potential the price could come down and effectively consolidate here and then bounce up to this next leg and continue upwards, or maybe even just bridge that gap entirely and go straight to 102 or 109 as the next potential resistance. So let's just go ahead and talk about the big picture here. We're looking at 140 as a strong potential for the best case scenario here for Epik. In other words, if it were to continue the same type of pattern that's been forming, right, we could be up there in somewhere in the range of about 2 weeks. Okay, because you look at this history. Price ramps up, sharp decrease, followed by a period of consolidation, then the retrace, finds its bottom, which is kind of concurrent with this level here, and then it moves up. All right, so say it does the exact same thing, comes down, does one of these, and then it goes on up again. It'll likely hit this point right in about 2 to 3 weeks time, which is roughly in the range of about 120. So again, 140 is that higher, that +1, so to speak, for Fibonacci, because if you take this distance here and you kind of double it, it goes up to 120. And then 140, that extra 20 cents is that extra leeway where you might get that extra pump. So what I recommend doing, and I teach this to all my community members too, is to make sure that you set your profit targets just below the Fibonacci retracement lines to ensure that you get filled in case the price were to go right up to that line and reject. More often than not, the prices go right to Fibonacci lines and turn around. So if you put your profit target just below that, then you'll probably be in much better shape. All right. So anyways, that's kind of what we're looking at there for Epik. All in all, it's definitely it's holding up to its name, right? It's definitely Epik in the sense of its progression here. Just bear in mind, there's a good chance that it could continue upwards, but we're pretty much past that all-time high territory, right? So, we're looking really good, honestly. I've no doubt in my mind we're going to see the price continue to progress upwards. It may dip a little. It may test that support channel. Okay, so be prepared for that. It's not just going to just hit the support and bounce. But if it does, and you see that support level hold at approximately 72, 71 cents, then you can consider that to be a good trade. Very last thing to note here is a simple fact that this one-day candlestick hasn't closed yet. We're only 2.5 hours into it. Okay, so that doesn't confirm the fact that we've broken this all-time high yet. So I need you to know that, because the simple fact that if it doesn't break and it doesn't hold, this one-day candlestick closes below, that'd be considered a resistance level, and it'll probably hold the price down to one of the next major support levels. Okay, we'll reevaluate that again soon, kind of take a look, but generally speaking, that's what we're at here for Epik. It's still in very, very good shape, but don't get presumptuous here and say that, okay, well, broke the all-time high, I'm going in. It hasn't broke yet. One-day candlestick is the most effective way of understanding if a support or resistance level is essentially broken or established. So bear that in mind. So all in all, I hope you find benefit here, and we'll look forward to seeing the next video. Be sure to check out my Patreon community if you want to become a better trader and follow the signals that I send as a result of just understanding how a professional trader does his job. Right? I do this every single day. I've been doing it for a very long time. And it's a very awesome and beneficial experience to be able to work with amazing people like you. So thank you so much. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.